Hi, this is Amy Collins from Free Advice Friday. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm here every Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern to answer your questions about the publishing industry. I hope that you will go into the chat box, the Q&A box. If you're watching me live on Facebook, you can go right into the comment section below and ask questions. Joining me today is my new coworker, Anna. Anna is hopefully watching this from her desk, and she will give me a heads up if anyone asks anything that I need to know that I don't see. You may see me looking over a little bit, and the reason why I'm doing that is that if anyone asks me a question in Facebook, I've got you on another monitor. All right, so let's get started with the questions for today. My question for you is, how is everyone? You guys all doing well? I hope you are. And if you have any questions about publishing or the book world or how I get this fabulous hair, just ask. I'm happy to answer it. All right, the first question I have is from a woman named Catherine. I see that Catherine is also on the call, but I don't use last names if I can avoid it because I don't know who wants their questions asked publicly. But Catherine is asking if I can answer the question about discounts, and she is not the only one who has asked. I also got a question from a publishing company, a woman named Jan. She is also setting up her discount. So I've got two questions about discounts here and how this works. So let's go through the math. I want to let you guys know that if you want a more in-depth answer to the proper way to set discounts, please know that my YouTube channel has a free class on this, and it's called POD Math, or Small Publishing Math. I've got two videos, and it actually goes through how much everybody gets. But here's the short version. If you want to sell your book to a major chain, Costco, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, PetSmart, I don't care who you want to sell it to. If you want to sell your book into a major chain, that major chain is going to require that you work with a wholesaler, such as Ingram. It is easy to get into Ingram when you go through the print-on-demand side of the Ingram family of businesses called Ingram Spark or Lightning Source. It depends on how you get through. But print-on-demand into Ingram is a system. Print-on-demand, as you know, is a business model that Ingram has started a company called Lightning Source, and one of their service companies is Ingram Spark, that you can make your book available through their digital printing and through their distribution system into the wholesale world. Okay, so Ingram Spark is not the same thing as Ingram Wholesale. Same name, same family, two different companies. So if you go through Ingram Spark, you are allowed to set a discount to wholesalers. That is not just Ingram. That means that you're going to offer that discount to Baker & Taylor, to anyone else who may want it. Because according to, at least in the U.S., Federal Trade Guidelines, you have to offer the same discount to everyone who's in the same class in the retail wholesale marketplace. So I think it's called the Rodman-Packman Act from the 90s. So if you choose to go into a wholesale agreement, preferably returnable, because if you want to get into Costco or the airport stores, Barnes & Noble, any of these guys, they insist upon returnable terms. You need to set your terms as returnable, and you need to offer the wholesalers at least a 55% discount. If you do not offer Baker & Taylor and Ingram and all the other wholesalers out there at least a 55% discount, they will not be able to turn around and offer their customers the 40, 45, and in some cases 50% discount that they insist upon. Barnes & Noble will buy your book from Ingram Wholesaler, but they're going to insist upon probably, I don't know, nobody knows, it's between Ingram and Barnes & Noble how much of a discount they get, but I'm telling you it's at least 40%. Perhaps more. In many cases, it may be 42, 43. And so if you want Barnes & Noble to consider your book, you have to give Ingram Wholesaler or Baker & Taylor or anyone else through your print-on-demand module at Ingram Spark a 55% discount. Because if they have to turn around and give a 40 or 45% discount to their customers, that means they're only keeping 10 to 15% of the retail price of your book. And if you've got well, let's do the math easily. If you've got a $10 book, I know books aren't $10, but I'm a music major. Be nice to me. If you've got a $10 book, that means they're only keeping $1 or $1.50 for all the work they do. That $1.50 has to pay for the gas for their trucks, their employees, their customer service. They do the billing. There's a lot of work that goes into that dollar. So you have to give them a 55% discount. Costco is not going to want to work with you if they can only get your book at a 20% discount. So for those of you who don't care about Costco or Barnes & Noble, if you just want to focus on Amazon and you want to focus on the library market and those sorts of things, if you don't care about retailers, go ahead and offer a 40% discount to the wholesalers. Brodart, America West, even Ingram, they won't love but they'll take it, and they will happily still sell your book to the library market and to Amazon. Because, yes, it's true, Amazon does buy books from Ingram and occasionally Baker and Taylor. But if your book is not available at the full 55% discount, that means you are saying you do not care about the retail marketplace. You don't care about Costco. You don't care about airport stores. You don't care about Barnes & Noble. Because in essence, you are saying to the retailers, I will not give you the amount of discount you need so that you can sell your book to the customers, because they need a 40% discount just to keep their lights on and their rent paid and their employees paid. I hope that makes sense. I hope that answers your question, both Catherine and Jan. Let me look real quickly to make sure. Ingram Spark has indicated that a 30 to 40% discount would be sufficient for online bookstores like Amazon, which is true. That's exactly what I said. It is not sufficient, though, for Barnes & Noble. Barnes & Noble in many cases will actually list your book, but they will not carry it in their stores if you only offer them a 40% discount, if you only offer a 40% discount to the wholesalers, because that means the wholesaler will often only offer a 20% discount to the stores. In some cases, especially for 4-color books, they'll only offer a 5% discount. You will be totally shut out. So that is, I believe, Jan is saying it seems that Ingram Spark is the only place to post a wholesale discount for each of the books in all 3 markets. And so if indeed that's true, if you choose the 50% discount, 55% discount, you're offering it to everyone. You can't say give libraries 20%. That's not how it works. So it seems, she says, she's forced to choose which market she wants to target rather than target all 3 individually. That's true. That's absolutely true. And Jan is asking, which of these 3 markets are more beneficial to focus on? Well, Jan, because I don't know exactly what kind of book you have, I don't see that you've mentioned it. Okay, right here at the bottom. Oh, it looks like, oh, I know you. Jan, I know who you are, yes. For you online right now, if you've got a mystery novel or a true crime expose, if you've got a children's book, the chances of you getting into Barnes & Noble before you've actually sold a couple thousand copies into the brick and mortar is pretty slim. So if you're still within the first 3,000 copies of your sales arc, focus online. Go nuts. Do all your marketing online, because you're going to need to prove your way into the Costco's and the airport stores and the Barnes & Nobles of the world. So that would be my advice to you. All right. Well, that was a very long answer to your question. I'm now going to hop to the questions online. Let's see. David is asking, oh, shalom. Thank you for that lovely greeting. He seems to be having a hard time getting published. He's considered approaching a local university press. Yes. Well, it depends. I mean, if what you have is an erotica coloring book, then probably not. But, depending on the topic of your book, a local press is a fantastic idea. Often they will have relationships with larger distribution companies. Many of them are time-honored and they've been around for decades, which means that they've grandfathered in to have some wonderful discount deals with Amazon and the different wholesalers. Not knowing what kind of book you have, I think that's a wonderful idea. All right. Otto is saying hello. Jill is saying hello. Kurt, well, hello, guys. If you have any questions, just type them in. I want to remind everyone that if you'd like to actually join the webinar itself and not have to depend on Facebook every week, please go to newshelves.com/FAF. I'm going to type that in the comment box. My website is fabulous, let's be honest. But my website, if you go to newshelves.com/FAF, which stands for Free Advice Friday, will give you a list of all of the previous Free Advice Fridays I've done. You can watch them right there from that page, but it also will allow you to sign up for the live webinar, and you can join us right here online if you don't want to depend on Facebook. All right, so Sonia is asking, Solve the Divorce Dilemma. Good to see you again, Sonia. She's writing a second set of books, not divorce related, and she's pitching to podcasts and online publication, and she wants to know the best strategy. Does she want to pitch, write, talk about relationships, empowerment, a combination? And she wants me to mention, or at least to keep in mind, that she doesn't have much of a following yet. If you guys are trying to build your platform, your readership, your fan base, and you feel you can be of service, my first advice is write deeply from the heart, from what your passion is and what you know. It doesn't make a lot of sense to try and write to a need. Now, I'm going to in a moment tell you that you need to write to a need. You need to find a need in the marketplace and write to it. But I never want you guys to start with that. That's a little cold-hearted. And some people have definitely accused me, and somewhat rightfully so, of being a little too business focused and a little less creative and spiritual in my tone. And that's fine. You guys have enough creative, spiritual people in your life. Allow me to be the cold-hearted businesswoman. But when you ask whether or not you should write about relationships or empowerment, my first question is, which matters more to you? How can you be of more service? And once you've answered that question, my next question for you is there a need for that topic? Are there already thousands of blogs and articles and books and podcasts about empowerment? And if so, where is your niche? How can you be of service? To whom can you speak to, and how can you help them? I need you guys to go deep, to go narrow, to really dive in. It's not enough to write blogs and to do podcasts and to write chapters for your books on relationships. I want you, when you decide that relationships are your thing, I really would like you to decide who it is you can be the most helpful to. And then I want you to write and broadcast and create content for that person. The more narrow you have in mind, I do this with clients. I did this with someone yesterday. Her name was Ellie. She called me. And she's got a series of books that she's writing on, and she's actually published several of them already. And I asked her who was buying her books, and she said Amazon. I said, well, yes, Amazon is selling your book, but who's buying it? She didn't know, and that's cool. But let's think, guys. Let's think. Who is going to buy your book, Sonia? This book on relationships. Will it be recently divorced women? Will it be unhappily married men? By the way, it won't be. They don't buy a lot of books. Will it be, they have other solutions. Is your book on relationships or empowerment geared towards the work relationship? Is it geared towards women or men in a corporate setting? And then once you've decided that your book is going to be about empowerment in interpersonal relationships, but it's not romantic relationships. Let's say it's about a broader topic of friendship and community relationships. Okay, well then, is this person a man or a woman? Let's say it's a woman. And are they very active in social justice causes? Let's build this person. So it's a woman who's very, very active in her community, and she has no kids, and she does dog rescue as a hobby, and really builds a person in your mind. And then I want you to write to that person for a few blogs, and then build another person. Now I've got a happily married woman with 4 kids who doesn't work, and she doesn't have time to volunteer because she's so busy with her children, and one of her children has special needs. I want you to think and create a person. Give them a name. Call the person Alyssa or somebody, and write to Alyssa. When you ask what the best strategy is, the strategy is this. Decide what your passion is. Decide where you can be of most help. Where is your expertise? And then I want you to find the people who can use that expertise and who will benefit from your passion, and write to them. And then the fourth and most important thing is Go find them. Where do they live? Where are they on social media? Are they on social media? Maybe instead they're not. Maybe they read books. Maybe they read magazines. Maybe they don't read. Maybe they watch videos. Maybe they are constantly watching different YouTube or TED Talks. Pay attention first to your passion. Move on to where you can be of service. Develop people in mind that you can be of service to, and then go find out how they get content. That is my advice to you, Sonia, on how to structure a plan for content. All right, let's see what else we have here. Oh, I printed that twice. I have fewer questions than I thought I did. Let's see. Wendy, not Wendy Jones, how you doing, Wendy, is asking what the best companies I can recommend for print on demand. There's very few, so here we go. Print on demand is, again, a business model that uses digital printing in conjunction with distribution to the online and in some cases brick and mortar market through a distribution setting. So print on demand is a business model that uses digital printing and distribution to the readerships. Amazon has a print on demand company now called Kindle Direct Publishing. And Kindle Direct Publishing used to be called CreateSpace, and it uses digital printing plus distribution into the Amazon world that allows people to sell to, I mean, Amazon's half the market right now or more. They're at least half the market. The last numbers I saw was that they were 61% of book sales internationally and they were 49% of new book sales in the United States. So they're half the market. So KDP is definitely a necessary component of print on demand. You should also always, if you can, put your book into Ingram Spark, based in Laverne, Tennessee. And Ingram Spark is also a print on demand company that uses their digital printers in conjunction with Ingram Wholesaler to get your books into libraries and bookstores and Amazon. I mean, Amazon will buy from Ingram when they run short on their own. So you need them both. Getting into Barnes & Noble means you want to use the Nook platform, and the Nook print on demand program is not just the Nook ebooks. They also use digital printing to get paperbacks into the Barnes & Noble system, Barnes & Noble Online. And once you've sold several hundred, or if you get some interest if you want to approach Barnes & Noble and really get Barnes & Noble's attention regionally or at your local store, make sure that you're using their print on demand, the Nook Publishing, Nook.com. It used to be publishit.com, but now you can go just through Nook. And so if you are serious about wanting to partner with Barnes & Noble in your area or in your city, make sure that your paperback and your ebook don't just go through Ingram Spark. You need to go through Nook as well. And so in terms of print on demand, those are the companies that I use. For ebooks, I also think you need Kobo. I love going into Overdrive through Draft to Digital to get into the library market, but those are the three biggies. There are print on demand companies that will publish the book for you. For children's book, Dragon Pencil's very well-known. Lulu, there's Dog Ear, there's a number, but these are, in essence, these are publisher services companies that will literally allow you to publish your own book under their ISBN. That is different. That is a different sort of print-on-demand world. I'm not crazy about that. In most cases, you've given up your distribution rights when you use them. So that's my advice. Alan how you doing? Alan is on Facebook. How you doing, sweetie? Forgive the sweetie, but I've known him for a while. And he's got these fantastic horror and thriller novels, one in particular which just came out, but some of them are, one of them in particular is based on a particularly horrific, it's a novel, it's fiction, and the movie's being created at the moment, but it's about, a lot of it takes place on the Appalachian Trail. And Alan is asking if you should write blog posts to Appalachian Trail hikers. I don't know, Alan, if scaring the heck out of hikers is a particularly good marketing plan, but this is what I would do. I would reach out to the bloggers who work and who market themselves and who constantly give content to the Appalachian Trail hikers and the people who are interested in the Appalachian Trail, and ask them if they're interested in doing a Halloween themed or an October themed series. You know, you could literally create a 3 or 5 blog series, but if you start now in April, approaching them and telling them that the month of October you'd love to do a thriller theme on their blog, I think they'd love that. I think just approaching Appalachian bloggers with a book that you have that took place on the Appalachian Trail may not be enough to interest them in you do, but let's get creative. What if you approach them now and said you have a terrific idea because it's a thriller novel or a horror novel for October, and would they be interested in being part of your October plan? And if you could get 10 bloggers or newsletters to agree to do this, you could actually create a huge amount of lift starting September 30th through October 31st in and around your community. The Appalachian Trail hikers, who at that point will probably be they won't be out all summer hiking. They'll actually probably be a little bit more, getting back into the swing of things at work. You might be able to get a great deal of lift and approval. That's my 10 cents on that. Let's see if there's any other. All right, let's see, more questions. Steven is asking, what are some ideas to generate interest in a book for free? YouTube channel, bloggers, do you have any hacks or suggestions to grow these resources faster? I can tell you what I do. I do this thing called Free Advice Friday, where I try and get people to like me by doing a weekly live broadcast, both on a webinar and on Facebook. That's one of the things I do. I do have a YouTube channel that is starting to gain some traction, and people are starting to like me. But here's the, well, and not everyone, trust me, lots of people don't. But here's the thing, Stephen, that I have come to understand. Not everyone reads, but that doesn't mean that my books are and that my readers aren't also watching me on video. I have a podcast. If you guys go to Apple, to iTunes right now, you'll find Free Advice Friday as a podcast. I make sure that I put my content out in every way possible. I have some novelist clients who have written wonderful books, both for the young and for older readers. And I have suggested that they take one of those books as an audiobook and put the entire thing up for free on YouTube. Do you guys have any idea how many audiobook fans go to YouTube, and while they're driving or listening, they'll just go to YouTube and they will find, and they will Google on YouTube. Can you Google on YouTube? I know it's owned by them. They will actually search on YouTube for full-length audiobook. That is a wonderful hashtag, a wonderful keyword, full-length audiobook. And they will listen to audiobooks for free on YouTube. And once they fall in love with that author, they will then go and actually buy the audiobook for the next book or the book after. So that's one of the ways that some of my fiction authors that I suggest, if you only have one book and you're trying to get interest for that one book, here's my advice. Start writing your next book. I don't know, other than Harper Lee and maybe Margaret Mitchell, and both of those ladies have passed away and they're really old. I do not know of any truly financially and critically successful author who got it done on one book. I know there's a few. But the honest to God truth is they're in the dark minority. I really need you guys to come to the light, and I need you to start writing your next book, because your first book is just that. You need lots of books. Most authors will tell you, go look at the New York Times and the USA Today bestseller list. They are all populated by authors who didn't even make a dent until they'd written their 6th, 7th, 8th book. That's how it works. But if you have one book and you're trying to get attention for it, yes, make sure that you go where the people are. You go to the newsletters, you go to YouTube, you go to audio, you do podcasts. Are you asking one blogger or podcaster every day to interview you or to talk about your topic? And if not, why not? You should be. Stephen is asking what specific camera and audio equipment do I recommend? Okay, well, I've spent thousands of dollars on equipment, and I can tell you what works for me. I have sitting right here a Logitech 922C. Logitech 922C. It cost me $120. The Logitech cameras work for me. I don't want a lot of filters. I'm not even wearing makeup right now, guys. I slapped some lipstick on before Free Advice Friday because I don't care. But I don't want a lot of the filters. I don't want to look fake. And the Logitech cameras, though, if you want filters and if you want to get rid of these wrinkles and stuff, they do offer, you can actually go through with the Logitech camera and you can touch up your appearance if you'd like. I am using, you guys see that? A Yeti blue snowball microphone. This cost me, I don't remember. I think it cost me about $70. I bought it on eBay, new. This microphone is nice because it's got a switch here on the back where I can get really close. I can switch to another setting where it will take in the whole room if I have a conference call. I do not depend upon my computer's webcam or my computer's microphone ever. I do not like the look of having a headset on or having those earbuds in and a white cord down. I'm just not crazy about how that looks. That's not how. So I use this microphone. If you guys don't like the sound, and if you would prefer to have me a little more filtered, let me know. You know, I'll slap on some makeup next Friday for you if you'd like. All right. Oh, and lighting. I always, always, always have a light on the other side of your camera facing your face. I have a window right here. I wish, let's see. You guys see that? I have a window right there. And, oh, I'm going to be sorry I did that. And so I always get a lot of light on this side of my face. So to balance that out, I have another light right there because I don't want to look like Two-Face from the Batman comic books. All right. Let's go. Let's see some other questions. I don't see any other questions. Oh, I do. Karen is that. Hey, Karen, how are you? She's ready to write her next book, and she wants to know the fastest way to do it and self-publish. Here is my advice to you. Daniel Hall, whom you guys know I adore, but I don't get anything for saying this. Daniel Hall has a book called Real Fast Writing, and it's 25, I think it's 25 prompts that if you go and you grab a couple of these, he's got in Real Fast Writing a fantastic number of prompts that will give you ideas of how you can create an entire book really, really quickly. Daniel churns out books like crazy, and these ideas, they're wonderful little hints and tricks. I don't know if I have one here. Let's see. I do. Okay, I did not know Karen was going to ask this. This is not a commercial. It says the goal of writing is simple, to write faster at higher quality, and he's got some of these tricks and tips. Have a conversation about your topic on a conference line. Keep it free-flowing but logical. Record, transcribe, and edit out the extra stuff. I do that all the time. When I need to write a blog for Ingram Spark or for thebookdesigner.com, I will sit on my phone and I'll free associate on a topic and I'll just record it. And then I send that to Temi.com, Temi.com, Temi. And I will have them transcribe the audio, and then I start editing. Or maybe you get on a phone call or on a webinar, a webcam with a friend, and you talk about a particular topic. You can get 7,000, 8,000 words into a quick conversation that you can then edit down. So that's one tip in his book. Let's see. Start with a quote. It's often easier to start writing when there's already words. So find content-related quotes and use them as a springboard to jumpstart your writing. So Karen, I'm sorry that I'm hyping my friend's book, but it's kind of a good one. Real Fast Writing, it's called. But the writing idea, and then how to get it published, like got to get it copy edited. You have to get it laid out and designed. You can use templates. Joel Friedlander's got some great templates at thebookdesigner.com. Get the cover done. I use canva.com sometimes for covers. Not always, mainly ebook covers. But, you guys have heard me talk about Mila. I love my cover designer, Mila. She charges $300 for a cover, a full cover. She's awesome. You can do it fast. All right, let's see here. Okay, Mary L. is asking about quotes. She has a client named Tina, who is wanting to start each entry of her book with a quote about grief that she found on the web. Some of the quotes are more famous than others, and then there's also some Bible quotes, and she wanted to know what the rules were about using quotes in a book. And on the off chance that some of you guys might be interested in this, here is my understanding of, and I'm not a lawyer. I have a degree in music and English, so please, I'm being very, very clear here. Do not take this as legal advice. But I do know the general rules in publishing about using quotes, and it is this. You need to get permission. You need to get permission. It is the safest way to go about. If the quote happened before 1923, I think it's 1923, but if the quote happened before 1923, there is a chance that it's in public domain, but there's a chance it isn't. If it's a particularly famous quote that happened before 1923, that copyright may have been renewed by the quoter's heirs, H-E-I, not A-I-R, by their descendants. So you need to search. So the best, safest way is to get permission. Now that is not true for the Bible. There are versions of the Bible that are public domain that you're allowed to quote from, but don't quote from a copyrighted version of the Bible. So you have to be careful which version you quote from. You don't want to run afoul. And if you're going to quote from a particular version of the Bible, get permission from that publisher, and I'm sure it's fine. But the general rule is most quotes cannot be used. No, even though they're all over the internet and they're all over Instagram, that's different than putting them in your book. Your book is eventually going to be a commercial entity. And because you're going to make money on that book, that changes things. It's one thing to see a fake quote slapped on the bottom. Do you guys see all these Keanu Reeves memes on Facebook and Twitter? All these wonderfully kind of spiritual Buddhist quotes with Keanu Reeves' face. I'm pretty sure he didn't say any of those things. But seeing it on Instagram does not make it real. If you're going to put quotes in a book, you need to get permission from the quoter or from their estate. That is Joel Friedlander at The Book Designer has a wonderful article about this that I will link to tomorrow. I'll put that up this weekend. Copyright. He's got a wonderful article where he goes more in detail. All right, let's see what other questions we may have here. 22 comment, lots of questions, guys. Let's see. Trish has an erotic thriller series, and she wants to know if I have any feedback regarding this genre and its popularity. Trish, if you can churn out a couple of books a year or more, I may be asking you for a loan soon. The erotica market is a great place still to make money. It used to be a lot easier. People used to make amazing six-figure incomes on very little content back in the day, but that has changed. Now with Kindle Unlimited and the new rules and the competition out there, especially for free erotica books and free erotic materials, the writing is much more competitive. If you are an extremely talented writer and if your books follow a really appealing formula that people are used to, you can still sell your ebooks for a very nice profit. Don't go expensive. So that's my advice. You're not going to get $7.99 for an erotica novel, no matter how long or wonderful it is. Stay competitive. See what your other best-selling authors in your genre are selling for. Stick to the ebooks. Go nuts. Consider audiobooks. Audiobooks actually do very well in this market, but you need to write a lot. Your covers need to fit the marketplace. Don't go homemade with the covers. If you do this properly, there is still room to make a great deal of an impact in that market. But it is not as easy as it used to be. So the popularity is still there. It's easy to get free content, but there's still a ton of discerning readers who will pay for good content, and they fall in love with authors. And if you can get your follower list up every time you come out with a new book, even if it's only 90 pages long, an ebook, you're going to have a very nice bump in your income every time. I say go for it. I think it's great. All right. I am trying to see these. All right, let's see other questions. All right, I've answered the ones that were emailed me. Stephen is asking, when are Amazon ads for a book a good idea to implement? Ugh, God, lately, I don't know if they are. When are these ads a bad idea to implement? Do you recommend any resources to improve Amazon ads? I do. Stephen, I don't know if you guys are members of my newsletter, if you guys are on my mailing list, but Stephen, if you're on my mailing list, you are getting emails this week about a class that Brian Cohen is teaching for free. He's teaching a class next Thursday to my list. Please, please, guys, go to newshelves.com and sign up for my newsletter. If you are not on my newsletter and you want to know, if you want a free class on exactly how to implement Amazon ads, now Stephen didn't know I was about to do this, but Brian Cohen, who is fantastic at it, is teaching a class on Thursday the 25th just for my list. So please go there, sign up. I'll send you information about how to get on into that class. It's you have to sign up for it. It is free. And he's going to give tons of information. But the bottom line is, and when to sign up for an Amazon ad is after you've done your homework. Have you identified who your market is? Do you know what other books they're reading? Do you know what other authors they're following and that they have on their bookshelves? And then you advertise to those readers. So setting up your Amazon ads is not just a matter of finding 30 keywords that match your topic. There's a lot that goes into it. I will also recommend Kindlepreneur. David Chisholm has got a program called Kindlepreneur. If you don't want to wait for the free class that Brian is teaching on Thursday, go right now to kindlepreneur.com. And David there has some terrific classes. You have to sign up. They cost a little bit of money. He's got a service called KDP Rocket that I love. All right, Sonia is asking, gosh, we've got a lot of questions today, and I love this. I'm going to keep talking as long as you guys want to listen. When pitching podcasts, if you don't have previous experience with other podcasts, should you put on your one page the publications where your written work has been published? Yes, absolutely. Or where you've been mentioned as an expert? Absolutely. And use logos, guys. You'll notice on my webpage, if you go to the Where Amy is Speaking, because I speak all the time now, but I wasn't a few years ago. Nobody knew who I was. Now I did an event in Minneapolis last week, and a woman took a train from Fargo, North Dakota, to meet me. That blows my mind. I'm an idiot. I am nobody. But I know stuff. And a year or two ago, I did not know how to convince people that I knew stuff. But if you do one or two podcasts, or if your writing has appeared in one or two newsletters, grab those logos, put them on your website, put them on your one sheet. Logos tend to draw the eye and to give you an air of expertise, even more so than just listing. If you were in a newspaper, use the logo from their letterhead. If you showed up on a radio station, use the logo from their call letters. It will make an impact in them psychologically that they may not even be aware of. Liliana's asking about my opinion about Book Baby. She's got music with them, and they're her favorite I love Book Baby. Liliana, I am a musician on the weekends, and I have an album on CD Baby, and I did not use Book Baby for my book only because I know how to publish a book. I know I didn't need their help for that, but I love Book Baby. They were just sold. Be aware of that. They've got a new owner now. Book Baby and CD Baby they're going through a lot of changes at the moment. So Google that. Make sure you're comfortable with what's happening in there. But they were sold to a very legitimate, lovely outfit. But they are changing ownership right now. But I like Book Baby. I trust Book Baby. And if you don't want to be a publisher, they're one of the best options out there. I also really enjoy and like Publish. So if Book Baby is something you're looking at, you might also want to consider getting a hold of Kathy Meis, MEIS, at Bublish, BUBLISH. Heidi was unable to get the audio working. Sorry, Heidi. Did you respond to Mary Langford's question about the grieving? I did. Heidi, I answered that, and I will. I'll send you the recap. But the bottom line is, I had said memoir. Quotes. You had asked. I believe it was you who was asking about using quotes, and I did go into that. And then as of the whether or not to include memoir at the beginning of the book. I actually answered that last week, but the answer was yes, you should always, if possible, include your own personal story. But keep in mind, guys, whenever you put memoir, especially in an advice book, a book about raising a child with a special need, or a book about grieving, or a book about fixing a marriage, whenever you put your own take on, or your own story in, that does not turn your book into a memoir. Your book is still an inspirational guide. It's still a self-help book. You do not want to put the word memoir as a topic. Yes, you should include your story in these books, but you should not tell everyone this is a memoir for a number of reasons. Memoirs, the topic memoir is just the kiss of death in many cases. Memoirs are, unless you're, Anne Lamott or David Sedaris, memoir is tough. Everyone has their own story. They're not particularly interested in yours. That's why we all love the sound of our own voice and our own names. So calling your book a memoir is problematic. But making sure your own story's in the book, that's a great idea. Stephen is saying, can he see the links and resources for any given Free Advice Friday, including links? I don't understand the question, Stephen, but if you go to newshelves.com/FAF, you will see a link to each Free Advice Friday, and what it will be is a video. It'll take you to a video where you can watch. I used to offer transcripts of these of Free Advice Friday, but a couple of very annoying people were taking the transcripts and they were republishing them under their own name. So what I'm doing instead is I'm taking all of these answers and I'm turning them into blog posts, and you're going to start seeing an enormous amount of these answers as blog posts going forward. When I just published the transcripts and allowed people to download them, it was my honor and pleasure to do so. But unfortunately, a few people kind of ruined that by republishing them as their own content, and that made me grumpy, so I took them down. Sorry. But if there's any of these websites that I'm mentioning that you guys would like me to think, I will happily put them in the chat box. All right, let's see. I think I've answered all the questions here. Mary is asking, how can bloggers build their platform? Mary, I'm afraid that's too big a question for me to answer on Free Advice Friday. That is a huge question. I actually teach entire classes on that, and I want to remind you guys that if you would like hours and hours and hours of my expertise, both one-on-one and also in all of my classes, I do offer a monthly membership for Bestseller Builders. Bestsellerbuilders.com, and if you go to /workshop, bestsellerbuilders.com/workshop will take you to a 1-hour video that gives you a complete overview of all the different ways that I can help you build your platform. I would be happy to, whether it's helping you build your blog, helping you create a podcast. If you want to create webinars for cash, Daniel and I, we can help with that. bestsellerbuilders.com/workshop. That is the website where you can watch. It's a free video. Takes about an hour to watch, and I walk through all the different ways you can build your platform. When it comes to helping a blogger build their platform, there's a huge amount of information. I mean, you got to build your mailing list and social media, and I would be thrilled to help. But is there any chance you'd be willing to watch that video first and then email me, and we can discuss it one-on-one? I'd be tickled. All right. You know what? I'm going to keep going. You guys are asking questions, but I'm going to answer 2 more questions because it is 10:45 and this is only supposed to be a 45-minute meeting, but I'm going to go a little further. Karen is asking the advantages of using Publish versus self-publishing like I do. Here's the short answer. When you start your own publishing imprint like I did, and you can, when you go and you buy 10 ISBNs from Bowker, or if you're Canadian, if you get your ISBNs from the government, and you start your own business, and you give it a name, you call it Buggy-Eyed Duck Publishing. So you decide that you're going to call it Eyeball Publishing, and you start your imprint Eyeball Publishing, and you pay for the editing, you pay for the copy editing, you pay for the design, you pay for everything. But at the end of the day, when you publish that book, you own your relationship with Ingram Spark. You own your relationship with Amazon. You own your relationship with Barnes & Noble. You own your relationship with Baker and Taylor and the libraries. You can decide when to take that content and republish it in a magazine as a subscription. You can send it out to ProQuest or any one of the number of content providers. You are in total control. When you turn your distribution over to Publish or to BookBaby, you have someone between you and the marketplace. Now, you still own the copyright and you still own the book. You are still the publisher, but you cannot just hop on and change your discount. You cannot make an instant decision. You have to go through a third party. And with companies like BookBaby, sometimes you, well, not sometimes, BookBaby, you will make a change through your customer service portal, and it could take a month or two for that change. Let's say you decide you don't want to be returnable anymore. That costs money. You have to pay them. It takes a couple months to filter through, as opposed to if you're doing it yourself, you log into all those websites. Yes, you had, you're taking the time to do it, but it happens. It happens like that because you can control when you take care of it. And paying for the editing, paying for the copy editing, paying for the design, paying for the printing, all that, people get freaked out about that. But here's the deal, guys. You're going to pay for it anyway. Whether you pay someone like Publish to do it for you, or you pay somebody who works for you to do it for you, you are going to pay either way. If you are not selling your publishing rights to a publisher who buys them from you, I don't mean hybrid publishing, I don't mean vanity publishing, but if HarperCollins or Sourcebooks or somebody comes to you and offers to give you money in exchange for the publishing rights to your book, great. You're not paying for it. You also have no control. They get to make all the decisions. So there's the ups and downs. All right. Stephen, any resources for learning social media marketing? Yes. Stephen, based on all the questions that you've been asking over the last several weeks, I would highly recommend that you join my group. I have classes. I've got weekly sessions, one-on-one sessions with my members. I actually have a membership group. It's $300 a month. It's bestsellerbuilders.com/insiders. bestsellerbuilders.com/insiders. And if you go there, take a look at all the different things that you can get. We have classes on social media. If you want to build your email list, if you want to learn how to do a landing page, if you want to learn how to get free, if you want to do your own barcodes on the back of your book, if you want books on how to record your own audio books, if you want information, anything you can imagine. We have hundreds and hundreds of hours of classes on there. Plus, you get one-on-one contact with me if you have any questions. I've got office hours where we can have one-on-one calls. Being that you've got so much going on, I think that a couple of months in the membership might not be a bad idea for you to be able to download all the databases and all the content. All right, guys, it is 10:50. I'm sorry you've got other questions, but I have to wait till next week. It has been almost the hour, and I am thrilled. All right, Wendy, yes, I will join you there. I will join there right after I get off here, so thank you for that. Wendy is suggesting Sonics does transcriptions, but also you can edit videos in it as well. I'm going to check out sonics.com, S-O-N-I-X. Nice. Anything that Wendy tosses out, I want to take a look at. So guys, let's all go look at Sonics together and see what they can offer us. Any questions I didn't get to, I will get to next week. I promise. Thank you so much for your faith and your interest in me. Please go to bestsellerbuilders.com/workshop. Watch the free video on how to build your platform if that's of interest. Please go to bestsellerbuilders.com/insiders. If working with me on a one-on-one case is something you might be interested in, it just gives you an overview of how you might be able to work with me. And it's much, much less expensive than trying to buy my consulting time on an hourly basis. Because I do charge $300 an hour for consulting, but I charge $300 a month for all my services. So it's a pretty good deal. I will see you guys next Friday. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you at 10 a.m. Eastern, Friday after next. Have a happy Easter. Blessings for Good Friday for those of you who do that, and I will see you next week on Free Advice Friday. Thanks.